Well, the eighth inning magic continues. The Detroit Tigers win yet another ball game due to a really wacky eighth inning. Let's talk about it all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Just visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. And the Detroit Tigers won another ball game due to an absolutely absurd eighth inning, where a lot of weird stuff happened, but they won 4-2 over the Texas Rangers. Now, I haven't decided if this win makes game one sting more or less. You know, and that's kind of the conversation we've been having with this team all up to this point, right? Is like, what should the mindset be? Should it be, well, the bats have been awful, and the fact that they're now 10-7, despite the bats being terrible, is a good thing, because when the bats do wake up, then look at what, we'll take off? Or is it, oh my goodness, we're hanging on by a thread, and if it doesn't fix, then we're going to crash and burn? I think it's probably both, which is a complete cop-out, and I fully admit that, but I think it's probably both. It's certainly not possible to be over 500 throughout the course of 162 with how poor this offense has been, but I think it's also April 17th, and there's still plenty of time to turn the ship around for a few of these guys. That being said, there's still a lot that is going wrong with this offense. Being optimistic, not even optimistic, kind of just like crossing your fingers and hoping that the offense turns itself around does not mean that what we've seen so far is not absolutely brutal. And again, that all being said, 10-7 and a 4-2 victory over the Texas Rangers on Tuesday. And so again, like you left Monday's game on the table. Like your offense was so bad that you couldn't get over the hump. You couldn't get a win in which your pitching staff only allowed one run to, I mean, look, like now after this game, you have scored more runs than the Rangers in this series. We're 2 games into a 4-game set, but like you scored more in this game than the Rangers have scored all series. 1-0, 2-4. So your pitching staff has done wonders against a team that, while admittedly is banged up, is still a really, really, really dangerous lineup in a good ball club. And the pitching deserves all the credit. And with this game, that is obviously where we are going to start on our list of things that went right. Okay, Casey Mize, absolutely fantastic. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. His first start in Comerica Park in about 2 years. I thought the stuff looked really solid. The fastball, I just cannot get over how much better his fastball looks now than it did pre-Tommy John and back surgery. And obviously that's directly correlated. And we talked all about the elasticity in his UCL and how they described it as like a loose rubber band in there, right? And he just didn't have the zip. His fastball was legitimately not good. Like, and I don't, there's how do I explain this? Velo is not all that matters when it comes to a good fastball. We talked about Joe Ryan the other day. Perfect example. He's not pumping a hundo every time. His velo is up a tick this year, so far this season. But the last 2 years, that's a guy that sits 92 and has one of the most effective and best fastballs in the sport. Part of that's his delivery, right? He delivers it from a really weird arm slot. He keeps the ball hidden really well as well. He's got really good spin, really good command. There's a lot of things that go into it. But like it doesn't automatically mean better. Mize's fastball has more ride, it looks better, and it has a big uptick in velocity from what we saw pre-Tommy John. So that's just one thing I really want to continue to drive home is the reason why I continue to be optimistic about the direction he's headed is for a few reasons we'll continue breaking down, but I don't think any are bigger than how good his fastball looks on a consistent basis so far this calendar year. Early in the outing, he was bullying people with it. High leverage counts as well. That's the sign of somebody with confidence in that pitch. And that's something that when we talk about with Reese Olson, right, it's like, man, if you are a hitter and you put him in a position where he has to throw a fastball, you don't even have to sit on it. You know he's not going to blow it by you and get a swing and a miss on it, etc. We're talking about Mize here, but he looked really confident with it and was using it in those high leverage counts. Even the runs he allowed in this game were kind of like choppers and ground balls that just found grass, right? There was one that was a literal, like tomahawked chopper, bounced off McKinstry's glove, bled into the outfield. Like, I think he looked really good. The splitter was fantastic. He had a few really good swings and misses on that pitch. The command of it, I think, kind of flustered, kind of wavered as the outing went along. But I think he legitimately has improved each start since coming back. And that's really all I've really wanted from him. That's all I really could have asked for. So really solid outing. The slider, he threw more than the splitter in this ball game, and it was effective. And this is a weird one because he didn't have a single swing and miss on it, and I still thought it was a really effective pitch. And that's not something that that I articulate or that I say too terribly often, right? If a pitch isn't a swing and miss pitch, it's kind of harder for it to be super effective. But this was a rare instance where I think it was. He got a boatload of called strikes on it, and I think that it was because people feared the fastball and had to respect the splitter as a swing and miss pitch because the splitter looks like a fastball. So he was able to, in those high leverage counts, the hitter, okay, I have to sit on the good fastball and also have the swing and miss splitter in the back of my mind. The slider is just a complete knee buckler, right? He did it to Wyatt Langford, I think twice in this game. Certainly once. I remember the one vividly, but it was a full count or a 2-2 count through a slider dotted low and away, and it was just completely was not expecting that pitch whatsoever. So I think that the slider can be kind of like his humbler, right? It's a great, it humbles the hitter because they have to sit on two other really good plus pitches, and the slider can kind of be that pitch. Even if it's never, I would love it to be a great swing and miss pitch. That's kind of the next thing I want to see out of him is a swing and miss breaking ball. But the curveball and the slider both kind of had that buckling, like, oh, I wasn't expecting that because I was sitting on it and had to respect the other two type of effect in this ball game. So he continues to get stretched out. He continues taking step forwards. I absolutely love what I saw out of him in this game. And now I'm at a point where I'm looking forward to seeing Mize every time he goes out there. Not that I ever wasn't, but if you would have told me that I was this optimistic about Mize's season on April 17th, back in February, I would be thrilled. So I continue to like what I see. His first 6+ inning outing, I think Bally said since 2021, just absolutely fantastic. And as he, like I said a few times now, sorry for repeating myself, but as he continues to get stretched out more, he'll have more and more opportunities to do great things. So spent a lot of time on Mize here. I know we spent pretty much the entire first segment, but really thought that he deserved it and that this was a really fantastic outing from him. Okay. Okay. Let's keep the ball rolling. Got a lot to talk about in the bullpen. Going to talk about who I think, I don't hand out like player of the game or MVP of the game or anything, but if I did, I'll tell you who it's going to go through. It wasn't Mize. I thought there was a pitcher in this game that really deserved it. We'll talk about that right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at PrizePicks. Spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. You can also get in on all the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take on the game and take it to a whole new level during basketball's postseason. The play-in tourney is well underway. Some fantastic basketball. Pelicans Lakers was incredible. Hope Zion Williamson is okay. That's great ball right there. Great basketball. And you can get in on all of the awesome action in this playoff tournament and then in the play-in tournament rather, and then the playoffs themselves as well. You just pick more or less on certain players' stats and can win big money. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Also got to talk to y'all today about our friends over at Monopoly Go. I've been told I'm a competitive person, sometimes by y'all, but by friends and family as well. And my competitive side loves Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations. You can build up amazing cities and bring in big money. The best part is you can mess with your friends. You can charge them rent on your iconic properties, just like in classic Monopoly, or you can also rob their vaults of riches all for yourself. Also, one of the coolest features is just looking at the leaderboards and seeing who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. So it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in time tournaments and earn huge rewards. So get in on the game and join your friends and download Monopoly Go now for free in the App Store or Google Play. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2 of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in, making us your first listen every day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We'll be back tomorrow recapping Game 3 against the Texas Rangers. We'll preview that game a little bit at the end. Also, tonight, April 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern, is the Locked On NFL's live mock draft. Tune in on Locked On Sports Today's 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or for free in the Amazon Fire TV channels app. Talking about this 4-2 victory over the Texas Rangers, the reigning World Series champs. The series is now 1-1 with 2 games left, both at home, obviously. Rangers fall to 9-9. Tigers improve to 10-7. Some other things I liked in this ball game. Alex Lang, I thought this was comfortably his best outing of the year. I know it's not really saying much, and it's kind of fairly obvious because he was in and around the strike zone and didn't walk anybody and threw a strikeout. And even, the ball was put in play, which, like, for him, I'm almost kind of like, please, like, I'm okay with that. I don't think anyone's going to square up his curveball consistently. I'm okay with giving up more contact if it means cutting down the walks. Going into this outing, he had a 14 or a 14 and a half walk per 9. Turn the doorknob, open the door, let that porcelain sink in. That is remarkable. That is horrible. And it's a very small, it's like 6 innings or 5 innings or something. We're in the middle of April. It's not going to stay that high, but like that is astronomical. So I think him just getting a good low stress outing, got a strikeout, still had the swing and miss stuff under his belt, was really good. And I'm hoping that it's a sign of things to come, but we've been saying that for a year now. My MVP of the game, okay, again, I don't give out player of the game, not really my thing. There's a lot of other great and talented people in the Detroit media world, Castellani, obviously, etc., that hand out player of the game awards. But without a doubt to me, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm so passionate about this one. Andrew Chafin was the player of the game in this one. 1 1/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He was absolutely phenomenal. Came in the 8th inning and faced Evan Carter in the 9th. Perfect managing by A.J. Hinch, Carter being the lefty to start off the 9th inning. The slider was dominant versus everyone. The command was pinpoint. He went in the lineup. He went 9-hitter, then 1-2-3 in the highest leverage situation of the baseball game and absolutely dominated. It was not even close. He dismantled 9-1-2-3, and that 1-2-3 is what? Simeon, Seager, Evan Carter. Uncompetitive at bats, just absolutely incredible. Was easily, I think, the most valuable. They have numbers for this now. I guess I can double check my work, but they have most influential like appearances or at bats or specific moments in a game. I don't think anyone contributed to this win more in one specific outing than Andrew Chafin. Absolutely phenomenal. And again, just given the situation, the inning, and what part of the lineup he was facing meant all the difference in the world. And yeah, that slider is really, 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 really a good pitch. The eighth inning obviously went really well. The managing of the eighth inning, I think, went really well. Bally Sports, Jason Benetti is such a treat. And Carlos Pena as well, I think, crushed it this weekend. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Todd Jones being more of like that desk presence that also they bring in temporarily to the booth. He's been crushing. I think he's taken huge strides since last season. Just really, really liked the booth really this whole weekend and into this game. But Benetti did a fantastic job really kind of simplifying and breaking down the, McKinstry batting third and why the lineup was orchestrated and constructed is the word, the way that it was. And because myself included, a lot of people were looking around going, wow, Zach McKinstry batting third, my goodness, this is really something to behold. And McKinstry had a solid day at the office, had a hit and a walk, right? So certainly had a decent day under his belt as well. But that pinch hitting situation where you have, McKinstry, and that the Rangers only have one lefty in their entire bullpen available in this game, one single lefty. So he told Vierling before the game, only focus on hitting him. That is it. That's the only time you're going to come into this ball game is if you're facing him. Only focus on him, study him, go to the batting cage, and that is all you are to focus on. And Vierling and Urshela come up clutch, and I kind of say that with a little bit of a giggle because like Vierling didn't even know where he hit the baseball. It was, I'm not going to call it a fluke because hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. And I don't think it's that we should be calling that fluky, but certainly was funny. It certainly was again, Matt Veer, you can look at the screenshot. He's looking up. He thinks he's fouled it off to the left, and it's a flare to right field. So that's got to be a frustrating moment for the pitcher as well. But just in general, the setup of the lineup construction from the start, McKinstry did solid. He was fine as your three hitter. Again, had a decent day at the office, got on base twice. One of those, obviously, Evan Carter had a error in right field, but like one of those brought in a run. And the Rangers only having one lefty, and everyone prepared for that moment. And that moment came to fruition, and the Tigers were completely ready for it. So, fluke or not, whatever you want to call that hit, the team was prepared and the lineup was prepared for that moment. And I do give the coaching staff a lot of credit for it. Javi Baez, phenomenal defensive play. Not going to talk about him doing anything fantastic at the plate necessarily. Did draw a walk, which I guess we'll kind of laugh about a little bit more later. First walk of the season, but that play in the field is absolutely phenomenal. Every single time I compliment him, not worth the money. I understand. Yes, the team would be better with somebody else there. Sure, fine. But that was an absolutely phenomenal play that helped seal this game and keep it at the score that it was at. So want to give credit where credit is due there. Kerry Carpenter, phenomenal day in the batter's box. 2 for 3 with 2 extra base hits. Looked great. The season numbers are way back up. Important for him to get going because he's in the heart of this lineup. It's awesome to see. And AJ did say he will get opportunities against lefties. I know everybody, that's the big thing. And he pinch hit for him in this ball game. And I want to see him get more opportunities against lefties. Everybody does. And AJ even said, he's like, I know I keep pinch hitting him in high leverage, but like, I promise he will get opportunities against lefties. I think that this is the time to do it because he's seeing the ball really, really well the last 4 or 5 games. So, okay, let's talk about what went wrong in this ball game. Still kind of a big glaring issue on the offensive side of the ball. Then we'll talk about stuff, preview the other 2 games in the series as well. Okay, we'll do all of that right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL, and baseball is also in full swing. And FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit fanduel.com/locked-on and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. I appreciate you all so much, as always, for tuning in. Talking about this 4-2 victory over the Texas Rangers. Let's talk about what went wrong in this ball game. The offense. Yet again, I mean, again, for as much as we're talking about the eighth inning and how awesome it was, like it still wasn't pretty. And it came down to that blooper to right field. He didn't even know where the ball was. And the Evan Carter error again scored the run earlier in the game. Like, eighth inning magic is real, and that's awesome, and we'll gladly take it. But this offense, this game didn't change anybody's opinion on how poor the offense is at all. At the end of the day, you had 2 runs going into the eighth inning, and you only had 2 RBIs in this game, right? Because of the errors and whatnot. So still a lot of work to be done. Still all of the work to be done. Nothing changed in anybody's opinion, myself included, obviously, in this offense. Riley Green, I think, had a really rough day at the plate, which we haven't said too terribly often lately. But 0 for 3 with a walk, which helped in the moment, but 3 strikeouts. Just looked like he was trying to do way too much at the plate, was forcing the issue, was really aggressive early, I thought. And then obviously the walk was kind of the silver lining there. Torkelson continues to be beyond late on all fastballs. He finally got his first barrel of the season. Of course, it was a fly out to dead center in Comerica, but he did get his first barrel of the season. There were only a handful, like 8 or 9, 10 guys, qualified hitters in all of baseball that hadn't recorded a barrel yet this season. And that's the guy that's been batting 2 or 3 in our lineup every game. That's not good. So I'm glad that he finally, I guess, got that. It resulted in an out. It wasn't even worth anything, but hopefully that's a sign of things to come as far as timing goes. That's really all I care about at this point. Just get the timing down. My goodness, he's been drawing a lot of walks lately, working the count. But there's pitches in the zone that he can't do anything with. I mean, the pitch that he struck out on in the first inning, that was 95 inside in the zone, belt high. If you're not sitting on that, if you're late on it, it's a great pitch to get a swing and miss on. But for a guy that supposedly sits fastball, tough, man, really tough. So that continues to just be late on fastballs. Again, hopefully that barrel at the end is a sign of things to come. The bottom 3 in your lineup, just tragic. Javi, these are the OPS game. I'm sorry. I know. Why are we playing the OPS game in a win? I know. I know it's everybody's least favorite game. It's everybody's game that they hate to love. But your bottom 3 OPSs in this game, 7, 8, 9 hitters, 374, 320, 382. What the actual heck are we talking about? I don't even care that it's April 17th. That is pitiful. That is remarkably bad. Wencio Perez, I mean, a smaller sample size than even those 3, but like 182 average, 523 OPS, hasn't got a hit in a few games. That was your bottom 4. Parker Meadows is dangerously close to getting sent to Toledo. Honestly, I'm to the point where I'm okay if they did it tomorrow. I would be okay with it. I don't think they'll do it in the middle of a series, so we'll see what happens, especially with the fact that after this, I think they have a roadie this weekend. Yeah, they're going to Minnesota, so it might be something we look for after Thursday's game, unless he has a really good, today and tomorrow. We'll see. But it wouldn't shock me. He looks completely lost at the plate. The only thing he's doing is spitting on balls that are way out of the strike zone, which is great, and that's a sign of like when he does figure it out, he could be a decent hitter. But his timing is completely out of whack. Just go to Toledo, crush for 3 weeks, and then come back up and try again. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know how much longer we can we can continue doing this. Yeah. So unfortunate because I really like Parker. And again, he'll be back this year. I'm not worried about him as much long term, but right now, not great. Not great. Runners in scoring position, you went 1 for 8 with RISP. If it wasn't for Gio Urshela hitting that single to take the lead there, you are 0 for 2 games in a row. Just absolutely dreadful at bats with runners in scoring position. You had a leadoff triple in this game and didn't score the runner. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know that was legal or like allowed. But like seriously, that is remarkably bad. Remarkably. So, yeah, continue to just be horrific with runners in scoring position. Let's talk stuff. Javi Baez draws a walk. Just humored me more than anything because he went viral that at bat for swinging at 2 sliders that were in different area codes and yet drew a walk in that AB. I just thought it was funny, honestly, more than anything. But that's how any righty attacks him, man. It's just slider low and away, fastball up and in, slider low and away, fastball up and in, slider low and away, fastball up and in. He can't catch up to fastballs anymore, and he swings at every slider low and away. That's kind of all you have to do. So good for him for drawing a walk, though. Winfield Perez, great catch. I know I just said that he was struggling at the plate. He still is. He's got to turn it around too, or else he's going to be a casualty of the Toledo roster as well. But great catch. I mean, potentially saved the game, you could argue, right? I don't know if that ball was out or if it would have hit kind of the top of the wall. Regardless, glad he made the catch. Final out of the inning. Really, really impressive stuff. I think he's looked fine in the outfield. It's just a matter of getting it together at the plate more than anything. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let's talk about the rest of the series, though, really quickly. So today, we have 2 day games for starters. So 1 o'clock start time today, Wednesday, and then 1 o'clock start time on Thursday. Dane Dunning versus Tarek Skubal. Win this freaking ball game. Win it. Go up 2-1. Make me upset that it's not 3-0 because you couldn't score a single run on Monday, but go take the lead in this series. There is no reason you should be losing Dane Dunning versus Tarek Skubal. No reason. Okay? So win that ball game. Thursday's terrifying. Thursday, Kenta Maeda, and it is official that Jack Leiter will make his major league debut on Thursday against your Detroit Tigers. The reason why this is scary, it feels like the Red Wings and Tigers both, like goalies making their NHL debuts in hockey, and then in baseball, pitchers that are only have like 0, 1, or 2 starts under their belt, just absolutely have dominated the Tigers over the last 2 or 3 years. But Jack Leiter's also got a cannon. This is not just some random prospect. This was a guy who was the best pitching prospect in a draft class just a few years ago, was one of the best college pitchers we've seen till, Paul Skeens, obviously, this past season, and then, Strasburg back in the day at San Diego State and whatnot. There's obviously a lot of really good college pitchers over the years, but Leiter's in that conversation. He was dominant at Vanderbilt, and throws gas. Now, he's been giving up a lot of hard contact. There's a lot of question marks about his secondary stuff, but he has been throwing a lot of fastballs in the minors, and your baseball team cannot catch up or time up a fastball to save their lives at the moment. So just from a fact that, again, this is a guy making his debut, we tend to struggle in those situations, and he's a guy with a really good fastball that throws a lot of fastballs in his debut. Kind of concerns me a little bit. Kenta Maeda hasn't been super sharp. Now, naturally, we'll lose, 8-2 on Tarek Skubal Day, and then, win 6-0 on Kenta Maeda versus Jack Leiter. But that's kind of where I'm at. That one actually really concerns me. So we'll see. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to that everydayers that do tune in every day. We will be back tomorrow. I appreciate you all greatly. To all my Red Wings fans out there, I'm sorry. Brian and I kind of broke down that game and the heartbreak that was the end of the Wings season, despite getting a win last night. Yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate you all greatly. All right. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch you all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.